And then, so another thing. So, why is science stuck now? You can check online, and you can see that across the board, science reached stagnation, like physics specifically, cannot make progress anymore. For it has been for almost 100 years. And now the question is why, or better said, I have an idea why. So think about the reality that the theory describes. The reality the theory describes is one where the the actual uh, the actual reality is the reality on which all experiential agents agree. And for there to be for the wakeful union, for this shared reality uh, to expand, to add another law of nature to it, all the experiential agents in it must agree to expand, to add it, and then it becomes a part of the public blind gap, part of the laws of nature. If you can't get this agreement, it won't happen. It would stay true for some and then not true in other contexts. Yeah, just wouldn't be able to get the necessary consensus and would just exist alongside other possibilities and not as a necessary possibility. And we kind of brought ourselves into this position because we're doing so much science. So many people trying to bring their theories, like me, like others, all trying to bring about to prove that reality is like this and not like that. Everyone is doing it, which is fine. Like, I don't think that this is something bad, and they probably are seeing things that are true or true to them, and maybe beneficial, and they might be way smarter than me. But they're trying to change the consensus. And when everybody tries to change the consensus won't change. And so science can't progress. Because for science to progress, the consensus must be achieved. And the consensus doesn't care if it's done in academia or it's done between like simpletons doing their own research and getting to a conclusion. They are equally capable of tilting the wakeful union to a different reality. But when everyone is doing their own research, when everyone is bringing on their own theories, and progress is impossible, or change is impossible. Like, we are stuck in this state where many theories are true only in the context of those who discovered them. They are true to the private blind gap. They are not true to the public blind gap. And whenever they try to publish their findings, someone pokes a hole in it, in their theory, and it crumbles. Because it necessarily is not true, because there are competing explanations, and these competing explanations make it so that the laws of nature don't agree with them. And sometimes it's not the laws of nature, it's just some kind of rationale. But you need to understand that rationale itself, I argued that in a previous video, rationale, logic, is an experiential movement. Experience is the operating system of rationale and logic. And no matter how compelling you think an argument is, the fact is that even the most rigorously argued logical claim can be later proved invalid if you change the context through which you analyze it. So it's even if you see the proof that your previous idea, your idea that you tried, let's say you did your own research and you did your own science and you got to a conclusion, and everything was working, and then you came and you showed it to people, and then they found defects in your reasoning. You just cannot really tell when this was an untenable option for reality to be, versus when was it the case that it was body-space reconciliation with all the other members of the wakeful union that brought about the faults in your theory and made it impossible for it to be the true explanation for reality. That's what my theory says about the nature of the wakeful union. Now, you can say my own theory is just doing the same stuff, right? I'm just inventing my own theory, and I'm polluting the same space, but I'm not polluting the same space. Because again, this is not about what's the nature of reality. This is about what is now in consensus in the wakeful union. It's a different thing. There's the wakeful union is not the objective substrate of reality. The wakeful union is just the agreed consensus. So we are kind of like paralyzing ourselves right now to make progress within the wakeful union. And so this theory is no different in that sense. I don't think that this theory can persuade everybody inside the wakeful union. But even if it does, and even if it doesn't, it is true in a different sense than a truism about the natural world. This theory isn't a truism about the natural world. This theory is a truism about natural worlds as such. Or it is true, if it's true to various, many variants of the natural world. Whichever we exist in right now, we share, whatever describes our agreed delusion or concoction or perception of where we are, the reality in which we are. Well, that doesn't change the meta reality in which this theory is actually describing and explaining.